Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Kathie J Show. I'm loving having you here. My name's Chris Grundy, and I'm in for Kathie J as she deals with her broken leg today. She's got a situation. It's getting better. She's looking great. She's feeling great. I'm one of her old friends. We've been friends for a long time, and I've been a guest on this show. You might recognize me from that. I co-hosted with her a couple of times in the past, and what I mean to say by that is before I was supervised. Now I am not. It's going to be loose, baby. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm just really happy to be here. Kathie wants to say and send out her love to you and everyone who's been sending love to her on her social media and, of course, her website, KathieJShow.com. And she's just real excited, and I'm excited to be here. Anyway, I'm talking a lot. Let's go. Today's show is about facing your fears, how to deal with it, how to get on with it, how to move on to stuff, okay? So I've got an emotional healing coach here, Rebeccah Silence. She knows her stuff. She's a veteran. She's been here 4 times.
This is the 5th or 6th.
5th or 6th time, yeah.
So glad to be here with you today.
Yeah, I'm happy
this
to
is
have
gonna
you.
Be fun.
We're going to unpack some stuff.
Let's do it.
I just learned that word, unpack, just now. So
when it comes to fears
yes.
and facing them, there's so much to unpack, and if we won't, then we can't get beyond it. And that's the point. There is life beyond the fear, and it does require actually facing, moving through, and conquering fear to unpack it all.
Gotcha. How did you start off in this business? What made you want to help people in this arena?
I love that question.
Okay.
So I think I had a psychic tell me once I've been a therapist since I was about 10.
Okay.
I just think I always cared, and I just always wanted people to experience their greatness and to have the best experience possible of their lives. But where I officially started was working at Fort Logan, the state psych hospital, as a music therapy intern when I was 20.
Okay.
For 6 months, I lived on the grounds and worked with the patients all ages. And it really was devastating to see how emotional pain was crippling people.
Gotcha.
And I didn't want that. I wanted people to be able to thrive.
Yeah, I love that about it. What personal fears have you conquered?
Oh my goodness.
It's a lot,
we
right?
would need a week, but I'll give you some Reader's Digest version. For sure, I will give you 2 examples.
Go.
When I was 24, I got married for the first time and had my precious little girl, and that marriage got violent and toxic really fast. So I had to face a lot of fears around, can I support my child and I on my own? Do I have what it takes? I had to not just get divorced, but then immediately go bankrupt, work 3 jobs, and figure it out. And I didn't believe that I had what it took. So that was really a time where I had fear haunting me almost 24/7, but just kept going. And then I'm a cancer survivor. So when you're being told you have a 5% chance to live and a newborn baby, because I was diagnosed with cancer while I was pregnant, an older daughter, a gorgeous business, a great marriage, there was so much fear that I had to face. Basically, every fear I ever had came to light in that season of cancer.
Wow. Why is it important to get to those fears and to diagnose them and get past them?
I love that idea of diagnosing the fear. I think that's just another way of saying unpacking. But I think if we won't confront those fears, they win. And they have our power, and we don't have any power. And I think that facing fears, even just the concept of it, begins to give you your own personal power back. When I'm working with kids, we talk about how everybody has this crystal ball of power inside of us, and that light and that power, it's never off. We just forget to connect to it. So when we're facing the fears, we get access again to our power, and that's not force, that's not manipulation, that's not power over others. It's us at our best. When I'm talking about your ability to connect to your own personal power, I'm talking about regardless of what you faced or know it's time to face, you have the ability to connect to that internal power source that is you, that will give you everything you need to get beyond these fears.
I love it. We're going to come back. We're going to come do this break, and we're going to find out the dangers of not facing your fears, okay? We'll be right back.
Ramos Law is an official partner of the Kathie J Show. He's a medical doctor and a lawyer. Ramos Law, what makes us different makes us better.
Welcome back to the Kathie J Show. I'm Chris Grundy, and I'm in for Kathie today. We're talking about facing your fears. Emotional healing coach Rebeccah Silence is back with us, and you say, listen, it's dangerous not to face your fears. What's the danger?
Well, the danger in not facing your fears is, again, then they win, but also that is how depression, anxiety, and really just feeling terrible about yourself and your life begins.
Gotcha.
It's that unwillingness to face what's there already that's real, that either gets you going in the direction you want to be going in your life or keeps you from that. So it's dangerous because when we're not living fully, our spirit is slowly dying, and that's no way to live.
Gotcha. But there's different types of fears. I mean, there's scared of spiders, and then there's scared of failure. They're scared of tape on the ground, and scared of being punched in the face. Right? So how do you deal with the different shades of fear?
Let's separate out fear from the details and the circumstances.
Okay.
So there's fear as an emotion that shows up in different circumstances. We never know what circumstances will trigger us, meaning set that fear off, but fear is an emotion.
Yeah.
And it's either stuck and taking us over, or we notice it and we are willing to move through, and conquer it. And I think where people can also get into big trouble fast is if they compare their fears to what they think are worthy fears or someone else's story, right? Fear is fear.
Yeah.
And all fear means is that you're in uncharted waters. You're in territory that you don't know how to swim in yet.
Okay.
Right? So every time someone rides a bike for the first time without training wheels, they don't know that will work out, that they will make it. Same with swimming. When you go with the life jacket, it's one thing. When you go without it, it's another, right? So I want you to think of facing your fears like the training wheels are off.
Yeah.
And you can do it, but you're not going to know that until you commit first. Right. So I think commitment is big when it comes to facing our fears, and not comparing what we think is worth it or not, or our story to somebody else's story is important too, because it's real. And another thing that I think is really important, Chris, is you don't need two things. Life to get worse or to become a crisis, and then you'll deal with what you're still afraid of. And that could be a past trauma, that could be insecurities about yourself, that could be, I feel like I have so much to lose, like if you've got a very stable, steady paying job, for example, but you're miserable. If I face that and start to do something about it, then what? Can I afford the mortgage? Can I provide for my family? Right? So we don't need it to become a crisis. And then we'll deal with the fears. And then the other thing is sometimes our life gets so safe, meaning our life is set up stable and well and how we always imagined. So when that happens, sometimes we're finally safe enough to deal with the stuck fear that's been there for decades. And it shows up in your body. So it's not the situation causing the fear. The fear is already stuck in your body. So once life helps you see that, it's an opportunity.
And I got to take this opportunity for a break.
We're
going to keep going though.
Okay.
I'm loving this. Okay, don't go anywhere, because when we come back, Rebeccah's breaking down what we need to do to face our fears. Right?
Yeah.
We got to get up in it.
How do we do this?
We'll be right back.
Oakwood Homes is an official partner of the Kathie J Show. Oakwood Homes, building happiness.
Welcome back to the show. This is the Kathie J Show. I'm Chris Grundy, and I'm one of her old friends, and she asked me to come by and host today because she's got a situation with the leg. So she's taking care of that. It's going well. She's doing well. She seems real happy. I just talked to her a little bit ago, and she's stoked. All right, this half an hour, we are demolishing some emotional healing situations, right? I got this coach right here, Rebeccah Silence. Where's the name Silence come from? Is it?
Well, it comes from my first husband.
Okay.
It really was my name. And then I kept it because I loved who I became as I was facing my fears after that divorce. And
I'm not going to be silent
for
anymore.
18 years, exactly.
It's ironical.
The evolution is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
But yes, that's where it came from.
I love it. All right, so how do we do it? How do we take that first step in facing our fears. It's a hard step.
Well, it's just a new step, right? It can be hard. I'm not discounting that, but it's just new.
Yeah.
So how do we do it? I mean, I think the 3 biggest fears that I've seen in 20 years of working with people is, the first is a fear of not being enough.
Yeah.
The second is a fear of being too much.
Yeah.
And the third is a fear of failure. So first we have to know, what is it that we're afraid of? And again, don't think that situation is what's causing the fear. The stuck fear is already in you. And until you address it, life will remind you, right? So we don't, again, need to have it get worse and more painful. We can just acknowledge, even at the whisper level, I have a fear. What is it? I'm not enough. I'm too much. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of being abandoned and alone. First, what is it that you're afraid of?
Identify
and don't
it.
judge yourself like, well, this makes no sense. I'm just at the grocery store and the cashier gave me a dirty look. Why am I all of a sudden feeling some kind of a way? Like, don't judge yourself. Just go, let's catch this fear like a fly ball, look at it and go, what is this?
Yeah.
Because it's running your life. This is why, again, it's so dangerous not to face your fears.
Yeah.
When you don't, they run your life.
Yeah.
And you need to be running your life, not your fears.
Yeah.
So acknowledge it. What is it? And I'm sorry, but really the only problem you have is you're not enough of who you really are. You're never not enough, and you're never too much. You're most likely not being all of you in your full-on power and greatness, and that is the problem. Right? When you feel not enough, be even more of you. When you feel too much, be even more of you.
Wow.
And when it comes to fear of failure, I just want you to imagine for a second that we can fail and we can fail and we can fail, but you don't have to identify as a failure.
Right.
It's a moment. It was
We're
a
learning.
strategy. It was a decision that didn't work out the way you wanted. You are not a failure.
Right.
Right? And then Brendan Bouchard, he talks about, most people are just afraid to be seen starting small.
Yeah.
Start from where you are, let people watch, and if you don't, nothing wrong with that, you're just not going to end up where you want to go.
Right. Which is okay too.
It's okay.
It can be okay.
I think, again, it's all a powerful choice. You know, maybe there's some project. I have a book coming out in October. I've wanted to write this book for a decade. It wasn't time until it was time.
Gotcha.
So there are some things that maybe it's not the right divine timing.
Right.
But if it's important to you, I don't think it's ever effective to not pursue your dream.
I like what you're saying. I like what you're saying. Now, are there any fears that they're just not important? Fears that you can blow off and be like, you know what? Who cares about that fear?
Well, I think we need to look at fear as a messenger, right? What is your fear trying to tell you? It's either there to help you grow through a pain pattern that's been running the show, or it's there to distract you from being able and equipped to lead the moment in your life you're in. So where it's not important to pay attention to fears is when you're up to something big. You have a mission, you have a purpose, and we all do have mission and purpose and this opportunity to live our lives our way. So fear is either a distraction taking you off of your mission, right? Or it's here and you get to move through it so you can be done with it.
Right. Can it ever protect you? Can fear protect you?
See, if you believe you need protection, fear is completely running your life.
Okay.
We don't need protection from our fears.
Okay.
We are stronger, we are able, and we are, basically responsible for deciding who we're going to be in the face of the fear.
Right.
I mean, yes, fear can protect you, but I just think that takes you in the direction of less living.
Gotcha. Because I'm afraid of my mother. Okay.
I met your mother, Chris.
You met my
I
mother,
think she's a fierce force of nature.
So that fear protects me sometimes because she'll bring out the belt. Still, to this day, she threatens me. Okay. So, well, she's right there. You see her.
I adore her. I see her.
Come here. Come on over here.
Mama Grundy.
Come on. We're running out of time.
Well,
Come on. This is my sweet mother.
But this is real. People are afraid of their parents.
I'm afraid of him.
You're so wonderful. Anyway, everybody, this is my mother.
Hello, Mama Grundy.
You're good? Okay. But some things that I would have done when I was a kid or a young adult, whatever, that fear of my mother saying, hey, listen, that's not cool, has kept me from doing things that I'm probably would have done and enjoyed it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
well, I think when we are noticing fear, again, it's an emotion, right? But when we're noticing that fear, it's a sign that you care a lot, right? So what I'm hearing here is an example of a fear of not wanting to do harm or not wanting to do anything that would have collateral damage, that would hurt people, right? So I think we have fear because we care. If we didn't care, it wouldn't be a thing.
Right.
We'd just go about our day, we'd do our whatever it is, right? But I think you being your best and moving through your fears, it gives that possibility to anybody watching.
I love it.
Right? And if we're afraid that if we grow into our greatness, we become our best, we move through, we face and we conquer our fears, and that somehow will have a negative reaction from other people, so we don't do it.
Right.
Again, we're squashing our souls. So they will have their reactions.
Gotcha.
That's not yours to figure out how to face, move through, and conquer. What's yours is you getting out of the way of not being your best. All we can do is our best.
Let's come back to that. Hey, we'll be right back. Rebeccah has some great advice. If you get stuck overcoming your fear, this is how we're going to get through it.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
The Colorado Lottery is an official partner of the Kathie J Show. Colorado Lottery, play on.
Welcome back to the Kathie J Show. I'm Chris Grundy, and I'm guest hosting for Kathie J. We're just learning how to face our fears, but sometimes when we try to do that, we get stuck. What happens when we get stuck? How do we get through it?
Yeah, so we're only stuck if we're not moving.
Yeah.
And even if it's just a baby step, just one step and then the next step, and I'm gonna tell you one thing not to do and one thing to do to make sure that you're not stuck in the fear, right? It can be present, but we don't have to be stuck in it. So what I don't want is if, for example, you're afraid of disappointing someone else. Don't disappoint you. If you're afraid of being abandoned, don't abandon you.
Got
it.
it.
Don't do to yourself what you're afraid is going to be done to you.
Okay.
So instead of that, what I want you to do instead is give that fear a voice, journal about it, say it out loud. We want to get it out of your body.
Give it a name.
Give it a name, get it out of your body. That's the beginning of taking the power back.
Okay.
The second thing is figuring out just what your next step is. I think it's really easy, Chris. If we are thinking about this big monumental fear, we can get overwhelmed.
Yes.
I don't know how to get all the way over the finish line. So just what's the next step? What's the next step? And the next step, and the next step that's right for you, because there's no right way or wrong way to conquer your fear. There's just what works for you.
How do we stop that fear from coming back?
We can't. What we can do is we can be willing to be our best regardless of what's happening. If all we are is afraid, if I face this now, then what happens when it comes again? It's going to stall us out.
Gotcha.
Right? So face it now so that you've created evidence that you can ride that bike without training wheels, knowing that if it comes back, I'm a cancer survivor. I get checked every 3 months. It could be anytime more cancer in my body. I can't live avoiding that possibility or having it run my life. I just live knowing if it comes back, I'm living exactly how I want to live. I know I'm equipped and capable, and that's what I want you to know. You are equipped and you are capable of facing, moving through, and conquering those fears.
I love it. Now we're grown people.
Yeah.
Is this the same advice you'd give to a child?
I work with kids starting at age 4, absolutely. Sometimes our lives, this is what I'll say to a kid, sometimes our lives need a 1, 2, 3 start over. But you've got that power in you, and you can connect to that and your greatness anytime you want.
Oh, man, I feel like I can go conquer something now.
There you go. Let's do it.
I'm feeling it's
going to
coming.
Make something happen today. Go conquer a fear today. Face, move through, conquer, and then you get more you.
Gotcha. And when you're talking to kids, this is going to help them for the rest of their lives.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because the thing is, we just can't identify as our fear. Get that the fear is not you and you're more powerful. And if we can get that young, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. My mother was a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, and so for the second graders that she had all those years ago are now coming back and finding her and saying, thank you for helping me face either fears or facing all kinds of stuff.
Right.
So,
and we never know who's watching us.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying lead in this possibility without the fear of other people's reactions, because you don't know who you're helping just by living into you knowing you're more powerful than the fear.
I'm loving it. Well, listen, Rebeccah, she works with couples, individuals, families, and also does corporate coaching too, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, team training.
Yeah, okay, I love it. So you can always get more information on her website, which is
RebeccahSilence.com. And I have an event at Nurture in Denver, April 23rd, so check that out on the website as well.
Is that with the accidental psychic?
It is with the accidental psychic, Willow Bradner, one of my dear friends, and we are going to be talking about coming alive and giving you 4 hours, taking you through experience and coming more and more alive.
Yep. Well, sorry, so it's time just flies from us, okay? It's already time to go. Great conversation. You've been so great. Check us out on social media. Kathie J on the air. Bye-bye.